302 Birds Eagles postgame show with Jack and Dalt. Proudly powered by TickPick, the official fan experience partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's take it to the show.
You can see your boys are dressed to the nines. I know I had Matt with me last week. We got Jack this week. I think we're going to be making the Eagles pregame show a thing for next season regularly. So Jack and I will be on the postgame coverage again for our second season. Hey, Jack, I'm just saying, if they win tomorrow, we're 1-1 on the season. So somebody better hire us. I'm just saying, we're pretty good at this. And then secondly, the second thing I'm saying is, like I said, we'll be having a pregame show next year, I think, more full-time. I know we did it a few of the playoff games, and it's been a lot of fun. But because the hype of the Super Bowl, I just want to give that disclosure that if the Eagles do win, we probably most likely will not be doing a post-game show right after the Super Bowl. It'll probably be Monday at noon, the day after the Super Bowl, around noon or 1 o'clock. We'll announce exactly when. As for now, it's tentatively at noon. Because everybody's going to be celebrating, hopefully. Everybody's going to be excited, knock on wood. And if the Eagles do lose, I mean, the way that this loss is going to feel, we're going to need a day or two to recover. It's really like they were saying on WIP, double or nothing jeopardy. It's really like you're like, okay, you're at the casino. Do you want to lose it all or do you want to gain it all? And the one analogy I had, and I'll kick it to you here in a second, Jack, that this feels like when you go through a breakup with a girl and you're trying to put yourself out there again and be a little bit more vulnerable. Well, the only way you can feel love again, Philadelphia Eagles fans, and the only way that you can feel that true Super Bowl feeling is by emotionally investing and going all in on this game. I know that some of you don't want to believe. I know that some of you are nervous, but I think that it's going to feel oh so sweet when the Eagles get that win tomorrow, that revenge game. Jack, you're looking like Big Pimpin' over there, man. How are you feeling about the whole thing?
Dressing for business casual, time. But yeah, this is not if, it's when the Eagles win. The Eagles are going to win this game, and there will be a celebration on Broad Street. I won't be there, but we will definitely, come back on the show noon on Monday and talk about the success and, what we did right. But other than that, I mean, this is definitely double jeopardy because we had a tough loss to them 2 years ago, two years ago. And it's just time for, everyone's ready for this. I mean, Saquon Barkley is ready for this. You're going to see a different Saquon Barkley playing today. And you're going to see a different Brandon Graham. You're going to see a different Jalen Hurts because they know how much this means to them and the city of Philadelphia. And they're not going to let any mistakes happen at all. So this is definitely going to be a pissing match for sure. But you definitely see these Eagles taking this home.
Yeah, I mean, the double or nothing, the jeopardy, when I heard that today, man, that just made like chills stand up because it really is. It feels that way as a fan. Like, I think I said it in the beginning of the season. You said it in the beginning of the season. We all said it. If there's one team that we could have in the Super Bowl and handpick it, it would probably be the Chiefs to get our revenge. Like, that's the cool thing for the Eagles. If they lose, yeah, it's really going to suck. It's going to hurt for a long time. Don't get me wrong. But if they win, they basically stop greatness. They could be argued one of the biggest party poopers, one of the best party poopers in NFL history. I mean, they would really spoil the Chiefs' chances to go for history here. And I think that this is the team to do it. We said on paper that this was the team to do it. Finishing the year, I think that this is going to be the team to do it because the Chiefs have gotten consistently lucky. I was listening to the podcast this week today, and Ashley had a great point about how the Chiefs have had close games all year, but how we have had a mixture of either close games that we've won or we've just blown teams out of the water. The Chiefs haven't really had those games where they've blown teams out of the water. And I think because of that, the Eagles actually have a chance to blow them out of the water. Like my barber, shout out to Dylan, Golden's Barbershop right on Main Street. Love them, love what they do. Awesome local business. Go there if you don't. But Dylan, my barber, thinks that it could be a blowout like we saw with Seattle and Denver a couple years back. Number one defense, Number one offense. What happens when when an immovable object meets in whatever unstoppable force? Who knows, right? Like, that's Derrick Henry tackling Cam Chancellor type of energy, right? Like, holy shit, what's going to happen? And at the end of the day, defense prevails. So I do think, because the Eagles' defense being kind of the differentiator from last time, and of course Saquon Barkley, but mainly the defense, I think, will shut down Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be our first time ruining a three-peat. We did it when we won our first Super Bowl. And this team, on paper, they got a lot better in the offseason, acquiring Saquon Barkley, Mekhi Becton kind of replacing on that line because we need some extra beef up there. Cam Jurgens is playing phenomenal this season. I was listening to part of my take yesterday, and they had Jason Kelsey on. And he was just saying how proud he is of Cam Jurgens on what he's doing and how successful he's been. And I mean, one way to, secure this victory is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. You have the best running back in the league on your team right now. We have the best offensive lineman. Like, you got to utilize your strengths and exploit their weaknesses. And their weakness, Chiefs' weakness, is stopping the run. And we saw it in the Bills game. When they gave the ball to James Cook, they couldn't really stop him, and then the Bills decided to throw the ball. So, yeah, just if it ain't broke, don't fix it and stick to the plan. I mean, I think A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, they won't be too upset if they don't get that many targets or that many yards as long as they get a victory, because Saquon hasn't had A.J. Brown has not had a Super Bowl ring. Smitty hasn't. Dallas Goedert hasn't. So, I mean, this team comes for business. I watched this hour and 23-minute documentary last night, and it's just kind of like throughout their whole season, had the crushing end to their season. Now they bounced back this season, all the acquirements they got in the offseason. And yeah, we had, we went 2-2, and then we picked it back up. So this, I think, Jeff Stoutland is one of the greatest offensive lineman coaches out there. Vic Fangio, I think why we're seeing so much success on our defense is because we weren't used to Vic Fangio's defense play call early on in the season. And then once we hit that bye week 5, then we kind of locked in, and that's why we have so much success. And Zach Bond is a great addition to this team. Burks, he's been playing really good in the playoffs, the postseason. So, I mean, and CJ, I mean, granted, call if you like him or not, but this guy, the reason why he came back to Philadelphia is because he felt like at home here in Philadelphia, and he was really, really upset that he had to go away for a season. And I think we see, having him back to the team, how much of a help he has added to our secondary defense this year. So, all in all, I mean, on paper, the only thing that the defense has, or the Chiefs have, is they have a semi-better quarterback, and they have Travis Kelce. So, I mean, the way to stop Pat Mahomes is, I mean, first off, when we win this game, we had to be up by at least a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, because if it's within a field goal, man, Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, and he's going to, make it close and have that opportunity like we saw, when that holding call they had, 2 years ago. So we just have to put our foot on the gas pedal and break their necks and keep on moving forward. Play like you did against the Commanders, because, we never really let up, and that's what you need to do with these Chiefs.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. Don't let up. Like, you can never let up with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And that was kind of, I actually think I heard Shard say it as well when I was listening to the podcast, that Lane Johnson said something along the lines of, we didn't really adjust last year in the Super Bowl at halftime. We just kind of went out there and thought we were going to win in a way. And that's not a good thing. Even if you're up by 10 points, there's always something to fix no matter what. You got to have that continuous improvement mentality. I don't care if we're up 30 points at half. We've seen crazier things in the Super Bowl, 28-3. So the game ain't over until the fat lady sings. And especially with Patrick Mahomes, it ain't over. I actually am going to say a bold take. I have a $5 bet on that the game goes into OT. That would be good for ratings. Just saying.
And speaking of OT, I think it was last season or 2 seasons ago. It was the Bills Vikings or Vikings and someone where the Vikings were losing the whole game and they came back and won the game in overtime because they locked in at halftime. And like Dalton said, Andy Reid is a good coach. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. So you can't let that happen. Like keep on pushing forward because once you make the first hit, follow up another hit, follow up another hit. Don't hit back up. Keep on pushing forward because, that's what we got to do to these Chiefs. That's how we exploit them. And, we can talk about, like Haven said on keys to success, the way that we can secure this win is by bringing pressure to Patrick Mahomes because, like you said, when they lost to the Buccaneers a couple years ago in the Super Bowl, he threw 2 picks, and he was sacked 3 times. So, and we have the front 4 and our linebackers to do that to him this year. So you can't let him back up in the pocket and give him all this time. You have to bring pressure, and you have to be on his ass. We have to cover Travis Kelce. I mean, that's really it. Honestly, those are the 2 big factors on this offense for the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I mean, again, a dark horse that I can see shining in this moment is DeAndre Hopkins. People forget that Hopkins is on that team, and he has never been to a Super Bowl. So you're going to see a different Hopkins he's old, but he's still a good player. So we got to just be mindful of that because, again, the Super Bowl is the best 2 teams throughout the whole season. And that's the Eagles and the Chiefs. And the Chiefs will do that to you. Granted, they scored over 30 points for the first time against the Bills in the AFC Championship. But I think on paper, we are a better team, and we are going to get this done.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if they don't, that double or nothing Jeopardy, man, it's going to hurt. It's going to sting. And another thing, too, that they brought up on WIP is the storyline around Jalen Hurts if he loses this game. It's going to be a debate all off season long. Is Jalen Hurts enough? Is he that guy? Saquon Barkley he led us throughout the way, but what about Jalen? Should we get a new QB? Do we need to get a new QB now because we're in our window? There's going to be all that blah, 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 blah. And it's people, he got us this far. We're back in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years because he's efficient and not turning over the ball. I love his chances for the second time around. Fool me 1 time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. And I just think Jalen Hurts this second time is so locked in. We've seen it before. When people doubt him is when he's at his best, is when he performs the best. Is under the bright lights. And I think, on the Super Bowl stage with everybody watching, looking at that lock screen for 2 years, it is eating at him every night before he's went to bed, every morning when he wakes up. If you think we remember the Super Bowl, guys, to all the naive Philly fans out there, I don't call you guys out a lot, but I'm going to call you out right now. To all the naive Philadelphia Eagles fans out there who think that this Super Bowl stings us and hurts for us, it does. I'm not going to knock that. But it hurts 10 times more for Jalen Hurts. And he's not even an Eagles fan. He is, I guess, now, but he wasn't growing up. We've been fans for life, and it hurts. Think about all the pain that we have. He cares more than that because he's the guy under center. This is his team. This is his family. This is his city, for God's sake, now. And we need to back him and believe him. And we do. But I just think that this next time around, because of all of those variables, then you add in Saquon Barkley. Then you add in the number 1 defense. And not to mention, I want to just say really quick, prayers up for everybody on Cotman Avenue and what happened with that plane crash too. But that just adds a lot more fuel to these guys to where they want to make the city proud. They want to make the victims proud and the ones who are no longer with us because of the Cotman Avenue accident and just family members before. Like my grandfather, for example, everybody has a family member that's passed on before too, that has diehard Eagles fans that would kill to see the Eagles have a Super Bowl title, let alone two. Yeah, I really think that they understand what's at stake, not just for the Chiefs to three-peat. I would argue that the Eagles, like, who has more at stake with a loss? The Eagles, no doubt. Like, going back to Philadelphia, losing this game versus going back to Kansas City, losing after you just won 2 in a row. Yeah, Philly's got way more at stake. And when it's a dogfight, like you said, a pissing match, this team gets the better edge of the wishbone. I really think that they're gonna. But, man, it's going to be an entertainment fest.
Yeah, I mean, and this is not just for the 55 players on the sideline. This is for the 8 million people in the city of Philadelphia. Like this, who bleed green, who bleed Kelly Green. They live blood, sweat, tears. It's all Eagles. I mean, it's not just for the, you're selfish. It's for the whole city. And I think no matter what people say in the media, how much hatred we get as Eagles fans, we love this team so much. And that's why when things ain't going right, we react a certain way because we love this team so much. We love this city so much. So that's another part of piece of the pie that, this is not just for the 55 players on the sideline. This is for over almost 2 million people in the city. So, I mean, that's another thing. And like you said, Jalen Hurts, I mean, they were doubting. He's been doubted his whole career in college, in the NFL. Oh, you're not good enough. Why did we draft him? All this bullshit and all this noise. And he seems to stick. You know what Rocky says? What is it? You get punched, you get knocked down, you get back up, keep on fighting. That's what his mentality has been through the past 4 years here in Philadelphia. And like you said, they had the little beef with the receivers or whatever, and they doubted his throwing capabilities. And then we play the Steelers, and his only response was in the post game was, "Is that what y'all wanted? Is that what y'all wanted?" So he is capable of doing it, and he will do it. He is, I would say top 10 quarterbacks in this league right now. And I will stick by that no matter what. And again, Saquon Barkley is a great running back. He has had all these haters in Philadelphia when he was at the Giants. And, when we acquired Saquon Barkley in the offseason, and it's like, oh my God, that's a terrible pickup. Why would you pay him this much money? And all this bullshit. He's injury prone. Well, motherfuckers, he hasn't been injured at all this season. And he has had his best season yet. And that's what happens when you run behind this offensive line. So, this team at all facets of this game are night and day difference from the Chiefs. And they are way better than what people expect. And people are already doubting us, saying, oh, you guys are just going to lose this like you did last time. No, we came back and we want this revenge. And this is a revenge tour. And we will show everyone who has doubted Jalen Hurts, who has doubted A.J. Brown, who has doubted Devontae Smith, who has doubted Saquon Barkley, that this team is legit and we will fuck you up.
Woo! I mean, yeah, everyone on this team has been doubted at a certain time. Kind of energy going for them. And, that going for them, there's a lot to be said for it. They're pissed. Not just Barkley, not just Hurts, not just the team, the coach, and what has Nick Sirianni learned from 2022 moving on? I'm sure a lot. My biggest thing, I won't be mad. Well, I will be mad. I'm going to be mad if we lose this game either way, right? Like that's a given. But I won't be as mad if we lose the game because the Chiefs just beat us. I will be mad if we lose this game because either we beat ourselves or the refs beat us. You know what I mean? Like if we lose this game because of turnovers, or if we lose this game because of a bad call, I'm going to be pissed. if we lose this game because Patrick Mahomes goes down on the field and just beats our defense, it's like, all right, we lost because, we weren't good enough. We didn't lose because of something stupid. That's the pain that you have to live with, is like that one decision, and I just pray that at the end of the day, there were a lot of them. And I guess that's what makes the Super Bowl is when you add up the 100 of those hundred thousands, maybe even millions of those little split second decisions that each 11 men on each side of the roster make. When you add up all of those at the end of the day, that's the result of the Super Bowl. So every step, every decision matters so much more, which in a way is like really intimidating to go out there. Like, I'd be shitting a brick right now. Get the toilet paper ready, because I'd be like, oh my God, like if I screw up one thing, the whole city's going to be after me. But the beauty in it too is to keep in mind that the Chiefs have that same exact pressure. They make one decision, one bad mistake, and you get them backed in a corner and you could really get out ahead. That's what I really hope Nick Sirianni says to this team. He says, hey, we were ahead last time, but how do you keep them backed into that corner throughout the second half, right? Is it me? That's one thing too. You got to be able to look in the mirror, Nick. Watch last Super Bowl. Watch when Jalen Hurts tells you to calm down. That's not a good thing when your QB says that. That's not. So I really hope that the maturity level that we see from Nick this next time around will be adjusted, because that had to be a turnoff to Jalen and something that he's thought about throughout the past 2 years since 57.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest way we lose this game is ourselves, and that's these self-inflicted wounds that we have, not struggled with, but like have had issues with in the past. If Jalen Carter gets a little too excited on the field, we got to make sure we don't get a penalty that's for 15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct. So the only way we lose this game is are these self-inflicted wounds. It's not the Chiefs' defense or offense. It's these self-inflicted wounds, whether that be missing tackles, which we struggled with last year, or not covering the right person, or things like that. That's how you lose this game. Other than that, I mean, this game is – I'm going to say it, and I'm going to be on blast. Game, set, match. Eagles win, because – this team has had all these adversary issues in the past, losing Fletcher Cox, losing a legendary center, Jason Kelce, and, being so close to the big game and losing it. So we wear a lot of wounds as Eagles fans or as players, and we got to respond to that and show everyone that this team's legit. All the analysts are picking Chiefs no matter what. So that makes me even more not concerned, more positive, or more, that we can get this game done.
I hear what you mean. Gives you confidence or like reassurance almost. Yeah. Because every time we're doubted, good things happen. And when this man is out on the field, good things happen. I brought this up during the podcast. He's 1-1 in his Super Bowl career. This is number 3 for him in his career, his 3rd Super Bowl. You can't ask for a lot more in a career to play in 3 Super Bowls throughout 15-ish years, right? Give or take. Like, that's impressive. So that he's going to give everything he's got. All the gas is going to get emptied out of the tank for this game, because he wants the chance to retire on that high note, right? Mm-hmm. He wants the chance to end his career hoisting Lombardi rather than, you know what I mean? Hey, do I got to come back for another year? And then what happens, like what happened to Kelce last year, right? You get bumped out first round. And I don't want to say it's all for nothing, but it's like, it's so difficult to get back here and let alone win it. So I really think now that Jalen Hurts, Reed Blankenship, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who left and came back, All these guys know what it feels like to lose a Super Bowl wearing midnight green. And not only that, looking across the field at Patrick Mahomes and watching the Chiefs and Taylor Swift hoist the Lombardi and not you. They've had to live with that for 2 years. We've had to live with that for 2 years. I think it changes this next time around. You know that this man's going to be talking shit. You know he's going to be leading the charge. And you know that BG, even when he's not on the field, he still has an impact. Seeing him in his pads in the huddle, like, that's one thing I think some people don't get. You played football. I didn't play football, but I get this. Same with Havens. He gets it. There's something to be said for seeing someone in football pads and a uniform screaming at you versus a sweatsuit or a coaching outfit. Or, you know, when you got that helmet and pads on and you're talking to somebody in a huddle, you're one of them. You're on that eye level. You know, you're on that equal playing field where even though he may not be playing the whole game, he's still getting a couple snaps said and done. So when you're a guy like Cooper DeJean, right, who just got here, you're finding out how awesome Philadelphia is as a culture, as a city. Imagine what that's like. Brandon Graham, the nicest guy in the locker room, probably got injured and is now coming back. And he's in the huddle, got his pads on. He's still probably a little bit hurt, a little bit banged up, but he's yelling at you now, saying, yo, let's go. All the gas emptied out of the tank. Let's rock. We need this. Like, if I'm Cooper DeJean and some of these guys that weren't here, Zach Bond, some of these other guys that don't have, it's the perfect blend of experience and inexperience, because you don't want too much experience either where you're overthinking the whole game. Sometimes that, you know, innate, just go for it. Alshon Jeffrey said it. We're going to win the Super Bowl. And then sure as shit, I'll never forget that first touchdown where Nick Foles chucks it up and he just, some guys in the moment, no experience, just ball. But I really feel that it's that perfect blend of inexperience and experience. And BG kind of is like the puppet master of all of it. And he's kind of overwatching it. But now that he's back out there on the pads, just it gives you that mental aspect to the game. I don't know.
You know, Brandon Graham is definitely the driving force, especially on the field and off the field. Especially, you can see him talking to the guys when he was injured this season, just like, keep pushing forward. Like, we got this. Like, you had a great play. Keep on doing it. So he's that motivational guy who's on the sideline, no matter if he's playing or if he's not playing. And that's something that is key to have, especially in a locker room. And having Brandon Graham suit back up, granted, we're not going to see him get that many snaps. I mean, we're supposed to still see him on that field, but having him back in the lineup is something special. And this is his Super Bowl. No matter what, this is his Super Bowl. I think he said, win or lose, I think this is his last hurrah. And I think for what he has done to the community of Philadelphia and this team, there's no doubt in my mind that we win this. And he's going to, if it's a close game, you know, he's going to push everyone harder on the sideline who's not on the field right now. And you're going to see something crazy happen. So Brandon Graham is definitely that lethal weapon, whether he suits up or not, that we need to have on the sideline. So we shall see what happens, but it's nice to see him back on the field, suiting up in 5-5 for the last time. Could be the last time.
I won't believe it until I see it, because I did hear conflicting things on WIP where he's like, oh, I'll be back. I might be back, you know. So I think I don't think he'll know what he's doing until the end of this game. I really truthfully don't. I think he's hoping that they win so that the decision for him is easy to make too, where it's just like, all right, like, let me just, I'm old enough now. I've accomplished enough. I've done enough. I can do what I want now. Like, let me just go out on a high note. We all know he's going to, you know, walk right into radio, whether it be NFL Films, WIP, whoever. Those people are going to be jonesing to get somebody like Brandon Graham because his personality is just that awesome. But I know he wants to end his football career on the highest note possible. And I'll tell you what, if you would have told BG at the beginning of the year, hey, you're going to be playing for Super Bowl 59 at the end of this season, you didn't say anything else, nothing about, hey, you're going to get injured and come back. You just said, hey, you're going to be playing in Super Bowl 59 for a chance to retire on a high note. he would be ecstatic. He would be the most excited. So I just know that he's got to be hyping up all the younger guys in the locker room, Reed, Coop, Bond, some of the guys who maybe aren't younger but weren't here before. He's going to be in their ear. Hey, don't let me down, right? This could be it. This is my last hoorah. Let's make it happen. Let's go out there. This is a brotherhood. And boy, oh boy, I'll be there. Broad Street. Like, I'm going to Broad Street. We got a hotel anyway. So I'm going to be down on Broad Street no matter what. My point is, if the Eagles lose, it's going to make this suck so much more being there, because there's no point in really being in Philadelphia if they lose. I mean, I might go get interviews if they lose, and because I'm sure people will still be out like they were last time. But for my own safety, and I'm a Philadelphia fan, I mean, I don't want to be out there too long because people are going to be pissed. They're going to be upset if we lose. If we win, no doubt, that's going to be the place to be. Embracing, random people. Hey, we did it. We did it. That's the beauty of the brotherhood in Philly. And we're one game away. We're 60 minutes away from that moment that they can never take away from us and our families. Make us proud, boys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you need it as much as we need it. This is something that, the Eagles in the past decade, they haven't really seen this many appearances in the Super Bowl. And it's just a bittersweet story that this team keeps grinding. They were always so close, yet so far away. And just seeing this team bounce back from a season like we had last year, and those two crushing losses we had early on in the season, it just goes to show what the grit and determination this team has. I think we have better grit and determination than any team in the league. Because, okay, granted, if the Chiefs lose, when the Chiefs lose, it's going to suck because they want to get the three-peat, right? Oh, well, but you just won the past two Super Bowls in a row. So that's not a big deal. The last time we won a Super Bowl was 7 years ago. So no matter what, we have one. Make it two. We need you guys to play 4 quarters of football. And like I said at the top of the show, do not let up. Do not take your foot off the gas at all, because this Chiefs team, they will bounce back no matter what. And that will only happen if you let it happen. So to prevent that from happening, take Pat Mahomes out of the game early. Make it a living hell for Travis Kelce. Let's let Travis Kelce have, no more than 5 receptions. Let's lock him down because we are the better team. Granted, this Chiefs team went 15-2, 15-1, or 16-1. I'll call it, because that last game didn't really matter. But those games were so close. We, like Dalton said, we had games that were close, or we had games that were blowouts. We are the better team. They have a better coach, but our coach is still good. I mean, he's been our head coach for the past 4 years, and we've been in the playoffs and 2 Super Bowls. So to win this game, do not make the stupid mistakes. Play your game, play in your mind. Don't do anything drastic, and this will be an easy win, no matter what.
And the one thing you got me – go ahead, sorry.
All I gotta say is this. We want it more than the Chiefs want it. People can say, oh, they're so hyped about it, but we want it more than the fucking Chiefs. So show it.
And the thing you got me thinking about, too, is you're going to have guys next year like Joe Burrow, who, if he would have made the playoffs, he probably would have been the MVP, right, because of what he did. So you're going to have Burrow. You're going to have Allen, who's just as pissed off. So even if the Eagles lose this Super Bowl and end up in another one, who's to say that they don't lose that too? You know what I mean? They need to win tomorrow. It's not a if, it's a when, like Jack keeps saying. It's not an option. It's just a one way, because you're going to have Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. You could argue Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs are a pretty good tandem. That's only going to get better the more time that they spend together being a cold weather team in that historic city. The 49ers are going to be coming back with vengeance. The Commanders and Jaden Daniels, one guy has done the impossible and made a franchise that was defined by lawsuits and bad football play relevant again. So the NFL as a whole is only going to get better. Like we've known it going into the season. And going out of the season, we know it. The Eagles are the best roster on paper. They have proved it throughout the regular season. They proved it throughout every playoff game. One more time, please. 60 minutes of good, clean, dedicated, smart, educated football. Like, be in tune with the moment, have fun, but also be aware. Because, like I said, all those little split decisions added up, you can rebound from one if you make one that's wrong. But if you make 2 or 3 of them, that's game. Because it's when all of them are added up that's the entire result of the Super Bowl. I do think because the Eagles have been here, they'll come away with this one. And I think it'll be a good night. Like I said, Jack and I will be live on Monday around noon, if not 1 o'clock. You'll see it on our YouTube page. If not, check around 2 o'clock if you don't want to watch us live. We'll be live that time. I apologize. We are pre-recording this. It's Saturday, February 8th, around 4 o'clock right now. But just wanted to get this out of the way because I'll actually be going up to Philadelphia. Everybody's doing their thing for parties. So when we're premiering this, it's about 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. It's probably around 9:37 your time now. But I appreciate the hell out of all you guys for watching this. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. This will be our last Eagles pregame show of the season regardless. I can't believe the regular season's the whole season's almost over, I should say. It's been an absolute pleasure covering them with you, Jack, throughout the postgame show and now, trickling into the pregame show. I won't do our, speech yet because we still got one more postgame show no matter what. But hype us up. Getting out of here, brother.
Yeah. Dalton, it was a pleasure doing this with you. This whole season, really do. I'm glad we decided to do this. But yeah, I mean, everyone, this is the final boss. The Chiefs are the final boss. They have been the final boss for the past 3 years. Let's be the underdog that we are and show them that we're back and we're ready to fight and we're ready to rip their fucking throats out and leave everything on the field because this Eagles team this season has time in and time again had doubters all season long. And you know what we can do to silence the doubters? Show the fucking Chiefs and the media that this Philadelphia Eagles team is legit. They want to take your fucking soul no matter what. Saquon Barkley is that dog. Jalen Hurts has that fucking dog in him. AJ Brown has that dog in him. Jordan Mailata has that dog in him. Lane Johnson has that dog in him. He's going to leave everything out there on the field. Brandon fucking Graham. This could be his last game. And Midnight Green, let's not disrespect this motherfucker. He has done so much for the city. Let's get out with the win. Go fucking Birds!
This is for you!
Playoffs and Phil.
What's up, guys? Dutchy Lockman here.